is Nick Sharp, and we're at the Senior Games, Reno Tahoe Senior Games Pickleball Tournament on Foster Drive at the Boys and Girls Club. We have had 100 competitive players playing here in the games. This match that's coming up will be a match in the final rounds of the tournament between a team of 55 to 59-year-olds playing against a 69 plus team. Tuck Vosberg and Ed Oakes are the 69 plus team, and Victor Bentoncourt, Tim Mayland are the 55 to 59 team. These teams will be playing in a single elimination bracket tournament to go to the final round for gold, silver, and bronze of the overall in the pickleball tournament. And they're getting ready, they're warming up right now, they're starting to hit some balls and trying to get their drop shots and their volleys in play. They've been playing here this morning since around 8 o'clock is when we started, so they've got in a couple, 2.5 or 3 hours of play already to get to this final 10 teams. We had 30 teams that started out this morning playing in the men's bracket, and we will finally finish up the brackets probably in an hour or so with the last 4 teams that will medal in the overall tournament. Okay, we've got the first point going in the Reno Tahoe Senior Games. We have Tim Mayland in the red and Victor Bentoncourt in the white, playing Tuck Vosberg in the white on the other side, and Ed Oakes in the black. Ed is now serving, and the score would be 0-0-1. And he gives his serve into the far corner. They'll now play the point out, coming to the kitchen line, which is a no volley line. Victor won the first point by putting the ball away. The ball can only bounce one time on each side, then it has to be volleyed back or dinked back, which is just a little drop shot. Tuck is now serving to Victor. Victor will return deep and go to the kitchen line or the no volley line, and he hit a soft volley winner, which is one of the hardest shots in pickleball. Tim will now have the serve at 0-0-1, serving to Ed. Ed will return deep and follow the ball in. Tuck will cut off a short ball, and they will try to hit a soft ball. And then when a ball goes high, which it didn't, they were able to win that point on just another soft volley. So that's a big part of pickleball. Hitting the ball hard at times, hitting the ball soft at times is a good thing. Oh, those were 2 really good pickups by people that know how to play the game. That ball was in the net, so they will have scored a point at that point, so they will now change sides and serve from the opposite side of the court. He will serve to Ed Oakes, and Ed will return deep to Tim. Tuck cut off a ball and hit it at Victor's feet, which did not allow him to pick the ball up. So the ball will now, after that service side out, will go to Ed Oakes on the opposite side and will be served to Victor. Victor returns the ball deep, and that was a cross-court volley that it was a pure put away. Amazing shot. Tuck will now get the serve after Ed lost his. Tuck will serve to Tim, and the ball will be a nice deep serve. Tim will return the ball and move to the no volley line, which we also call the kitchen line, and the point will normally be played out from there. But that return was so good that Ed could not get the ball back in play. So the ball will now be back to this side of the court, and Victor and Tim will now try to move in. Another hard volley coming down to their feet, so they're not able to pick the ball up and get it over the net. Many times you'll get caught with shots that will hit your feet or close to your feet, and you can't pick the ball up quick enough to get it to go back over. So this game requires some hard shots, some soft shots, and some high volleys. And there's a good high soft serve, and Tuck returns the ball low. There's a good, that looked like it was going to be a good drop volley, and instead the ball did not clear the net, so it goes to the other side. So we're at score, and the cross-court shot by Tuck, and a good lob by Ed Oakes, and Tuck tried down the line, and the ball was wide. So they scored a point on that one. Tuck will now serve. We'll listen for the score, and the score is 0-1 and 2, which means he is the second server, 2. The actual score of the game was 0-1. Oh, what an amazing inside-out forehand to score a point. So Tuck and Ed will now change positions. Each time you score a point in pickleball, you change positions with your partner. You go from the left side to the right side or right side, left side. And we now have 1-1, and Tuck is the second server, so he says 1-1-2. That was a really nice drop volley there. Tuck comes back at him. See how quickly the ball flies back and forth. Up, the ball just went by them, and they let the ball fly wide, which gave them a side, gave the Tuck a side out. Now it is Victor's serve, and it's 1-1-1. He is the first server. As they move up to the kitchen line, they're trying to pick balls off as quick as they can. But Victor went for a little too much on that one, so the ball was not able to get over the net. Now Tim will serve at 1-1-2, which means 1-1 and second server. Tim made one of the crucial errors that we sometimes make when we hurry. We serve the ball long or short, and it doesn't go in play. So the ball goes to Tuck's side at 1-1 and first server, 1-1-1. Ed Oakes hits a good inside-out forehand and another drop shot. And what an amazing cross-court volley once again. He did not have to hit the ball hard. He was able to hit the ball soft and win the point by keeping the ball low and wide. Ed is serving to Tim Malin. Tim returns the ball deep with his offhand, which is an unusual shot, but a very nice shot. Look at how soft and low the ball is kept. That way nobody is able to take the ball high in the air and actually put it away. The lower you can keep the ball in pickleball and keep it under the person's hard shots, it makes it much simpler to score points. You can only score points in pickleball. That ball went out of bounds. You can only score points in pickleball when you are serving. So they won that point, so they changed sides. It is now 2-1-1. Ed returns the ball deep, and Victor decided to hit a hard volley, which went out of bounds. We now have Tim at 2-1-2. Tim is the second server. That's the 2 on the end, and he will serve deep to Tuck. Tuck returns the ball. Tim missed a little drop volley, so that means that the point was lost. The ball was lost, so the ball goes to the other side. You do not win points if you are the receiving team. You only win points if you're the server. So Tuck and Ed can make points now if they're able to win the shot. But Ed was not able to complete that drop volley, so the ball went in the net. And so Ed will now serve. If he loses his serve, the ball will come to this side. We'll see if he gets a point off of that. And that's a good shot and a lob. But that high ball was picked off and hit as an overhead. So now they have both lost their serve, Ed and Tuck, and the ball now comes back to Tim and Victor. And the score is 2-1-1. And Victor was very wise to watch and see where his partner was at, because he was about ready to serve from in front of the baseline. You have to be behind the baseline when you serve the ball, otherwise it's a missed shot. That's a very nice cross court, and look at that. Tuck picked that ball off. That is amazing play by these 69 plus players. This shows you that pickleball is a sport that most ages can pick up and play very effectively against other younger people, which is really great. That's a pretty hard shot. Oh, look at that volley that Ed picked up, and the spins Tuck is putting on that ball is incredible. Tim Malin hit the ball at Tuck. Tuck was not able to get his paddle out of the road. He bumped that ball with his paddle, and then it went out of bounds. But because it touched his paddle, he does not win the point. So it is now 3-1-2. Victor is serving a deep return. Tim had to back up, which pushed him off the line. Now they have to hit a drop shot and a harder ball, and that ball will be put away by Tim Malin because the ball from Tuck was a little bit too high. This sport is very interesting because it takes a combination of shots to win points. You have to have a hard volley, you have to have some soft shots, and good overheads to play. And there's a real hard volley with a soft shot coming back, which was incredible. That shot that Ed hit was really good, but Victor was ready for that. He had his paddle up in the ready position, and he was able to pick that ball off and do good things with it. Victor's serving the ball, and they need to win this point to get another point on their Oh, and Tim won the point by hitting a nice down the line volley, and that was came as a surprise to Tuck. It went by him. I really think that at some point in time they're going to have to, Tuck and Ed are going to have to close the net on the net and play the kitchen line tough. Look at the big spin on that ball that Ed Oaks just hit. Victor tried to crush that ball with a real hard forehand, and that spin made him hit it in the net. So once again, that variations in shots in this game just really make a huge difference in what kind of shots you have to hit back. There's a real high lob coming back, and Ed hit a spin shot that was just incredible. Look at that cross-court volley that he hit, and a better cross-court volley, and down the line in the middle. Tim could not get back to pick that ball off. Tuck hit a beautiful setup shot and finished it with a shot, cross-court shot down the middle. They scored a point there. We'll see what the score is. So I think I heard 2-6-1. Tuck would be the first server. That was a good point for them, but that ball was way too high, and Victor was able to get on top of that and put it away. Ed gets to serve now because he's the second server. Both players get to serve when you get the ball back. So you have to beat both players' serves before you can get the ball to start serving again. Oh, look at those shots. Oh, and that's going to be a real short ball. Oh, and they couldn't pick it up. It just barely cleared the net and dropped short, and Ed couldn't get in there quick enough to pick that off. So I believe the ball will now come back to Tim Malin, and we'll listen for the score. I believe it's 6-2, and Tim is the first server because he serves on the right-hand side as the first server, and that's where you always start serving when you get the ball back. Look at the big spin Ed put on that ball, and Tuck picked that ball off and spun it right back to Tim, and he wasn't quite ready for that. That was really a nice play by Tuck Vosberg. He is really quite incredible for one of the older pickleball players in this tournament. A very nice player. And that ball was a little too high, so Victor was able to pick it off and hit it down the middle so nobody could get it on the other side. So now they're going to keep serving. The score is 7-2, and Victor is the second server, so it's 7-2-2. That's how we keep the score, with 3 numbers. Victor went for a little more on that one than he really needed to, and he hit it out of bounds. So the ball goes back over to Ed Oaks' side. He's the first server because he's the player on the right-hand side. That's the #1 position in pickleball where you start serving. Oh, look at that nice drop shot, and Victor was able to pick that off and hit it back at his feet. The object of this game is for all 4 players to get to the no volley zone line or the kitchen line where they play the point out most of the time. If you stay back in pickleball at the baseline, most of the time you're going to lose points because they can hit angles and different kinds of shots that will put you out of position. So that ball went out of bounds, so that serve came back to Victor and Tim. The score is 7-2. So we'll see who wins a point here. Oh, they did win a point. So they now switch sides. Victor comes to the left side. He stays as a 1. So it's 8-2-1, as you heard him say. And the ball comes back to them. He's hitting a drop shot, and he's hitting a put away right down the middle. So you have to be very careful to keep that ball low. If you don't keep that ball low, your opponents can pick it in the air, pick it off in the air and put it away. Now what the people are staying back initially for is when you're the service team, you have to wait for the ball to bounce the second time, so you can't get in right away. Tim went for a hard shot down the middle, and the net grabbed it before he could get it to go over. Tim now gets to serve. He's the #2 player. We will play till one team gets to 11, but they have to win by 2. So Tim is serving, I believe, at 8-2. And that's a real good shot. Oh, look at that shot. That's amazing. They hit a perfect angle there, and it looks to me like that nobody could have gotten that ball the way they angled that ball off. So the ball now, after the 2 side outs, goes back to Ed Oaks. Ed Oaks is going to serve cross court to Victor, and I believe it's 2-8-1. He hits up a lob. That's a good lob, another high lob. Tim's got to hit the ball and try to put it away, but he couldn't. And there's a soft shot, and they come in behind the soft shot. So that was pretty incredible as far as the way they played that out. You could see they hit a couple lobs, and they hit a softball, and that softball really puts you in position to be able to do something with the ball. There you go. That ball was a little too high. Tim could take that ball and actually put it away. So you're just waiting for your opportunity. You try to keep the ball low and soft, and you're waiting for an opportunity in pickleball to actually be able to hit the ball hard for a put away. And sometimes it works, and a lot of times it doesn't. So you just kind of have to be patient and stay in the point. There was a high shot that they picked off. So then they lose their serve at this point, both their serves at this point. So now they're able to serve from the other side. It is now 4-9-2. Tuck is the second server. That was a great short serve. He was able to angle that short serve in there, and Victor picked that off. Victor has really nice big long arms, so he's able to reach out there with that paddle and pick those higher balls out of the air and do something with them. So we'll see. It's now 9-4. Victor's the one server, so it's 9-4-1. Oh, look at that shot. Tim took that ball right out of the air and decided he was going to drive that ball towards Ed, and Ed was caught with the ball going by him. So now it's 10-4-1. They go to 11 by 1, so they're getting close here. Up. Tuck hit a really good backhand shot, so they were able to give Victor his side out. Now they need to get a side out so they can get the ball back before they get to 11. 11 is the big point that it takes to win. Look at that nice inside out forehand that Tuck hit, and that was really great. Now they get the ball back and they'll get to serve. Once again, as I said, you only get points when you serve. The other team doesn't get any points for winning. They just get a server out. Cross court serve from Ed Oakes to Tim Malin. Ed's going to take a backhand down the center. Nice drop shot. Oh, and Tuck took that backhand and hit it right at Tim, and Tim couldn't get his paddle in a ready position. As you see that ball rolling across the court, that basically is a let. We call that a let in pickleball. In other words, everybody stops as far as the play goes, because we want to keep everything safe so that nobody steps on a ball or falls down or has an accident. So play will resume now with Ed serving. And Ed's going to hit another little drop shot, but he couldn't quite pick it up enough to get it over. Now Tuck gets to serve, so they still get a chance. The score, I believe, is 5-10, so they're trying to get points right now before the other team can do some damage. This tournament is run a little bit different. Normally in pickleball, every game goes to 11 and you have to win by 2. In this tournament, we extended the games a little bit, and they're actually going to go to 15, which is a little bit unusual because all the normal games in the regular pickleball tournaments are 11. But these people all are such good players that we decided we wanted them to get to play a little longer, so we went to games of 15. And sometimes the matches will last 10 minutes, and sometimes they'll last 20 minutes, and sometimes they'll last even a little bit longer. But the 15 games are a lot of fun because it takes a long time for one team or the other to get to 15. So there's a little bit of an age difference here. As I said, this group is 55 to 59. Tim and Victor, Ed and Tuck are 69 plus, and I'm sure that both of them are in their 70s. So there's a 15-year difference maybe between them. But as you can see, Tuck and Ed are holding their own, playing real well. And it's a game of skill and strategy. There's an awful lot of strategy involved in this. You don't want to hit a high ball and put your partner in position for them to be able to hit the ball at them or by them. So it takes an awful lot of practice in this game. Most players that play pickleball will play anywhere from probably 6 to 12 hours a week practicing and playing and working on different aspects of their game, practicing their serve and many different things. There's also some teaching things that go on here in Reno for players, some clinics that we sometimes have, or some skills and drills. And most of these players are either players or students at those skills and drills, and so that's something that also happens here in Reno at the Boys and Girls Club, the Neil Road and Evelyn Mount. That's a real nice shot there, and Victor went on offense really quickly there and Tuck was able to volley that, to catch that quick shot and volley it back. Ed's now serving at 7-12-1, so they're catching up a little bit. There's a 5-point difference, but they've got to catch them before they get to 15, as I said, because the games were extended here in the tournament from 11 to 15. So, oh, that's a good, see the strategy, how they were able, oh, Tim went for a little bit too much, and he wasn't able to keep it under control. He hit it out of bounds. So Tuck scored a point, and he moves back to the other side where he's going to serve cross court to Tim. Tim will return the ball, and then the dink contest will now start. Oh, nice shot, another nice shot. Oh, that's a real good pickup, Tim. Tim picked up that hard ball, and he was able to volley it back at somebody's feet and win a point. Really, really nice. And you can see we have quite a lot of spectators watching the games along the other side, sitting in the bleachers. And here we've got Tuck hitting back and forth to Ed. Oh, look at that drop volley that Victor hit. He just basically, okay. And what happened there is the rule in pickleball is you cannot step across that kitchen line or have your toes over that kitchen line when you take the ball in the air. You have to let that ball bounce if you're going to step into that no volley zone or that kitchen line up front. And Victor actually stepped on that line as he volleyed that ball, so they actually gave the ball. Tuck and Ed were able to keep the ball even though they didn't win that point because Victor hit what we call a foul. He actually stepped on that line or over that line, which gave them the ball. So that gave them a point on that. So we're getting closer. The score is now 12-9-1 going to 15. And that's a nice high lob serve with a little short drop return. Oh, and Ed's going to hit a shot. Oh, look at that down the line shot. That was perfect. That was a perfect down the line volley shot by Tuck, and he put that ball in a position they couldn't get to. Okay, we're going to hit a drop shot here, which is just a little soft, and another drop shot. Oh, look at the dinking going on now. That's just, dinking is just there, and the ball went too high, and bam, bam, bam. Pretty soon the ball gets put away by somebody. They were looking to see if that ball actually went outside the line, but I guess it didn't. So the ball comes back to Victor and to Tim. They 13-9-2. So they're both getting close to 15. They have a 4-point deficit at this point. Oh, that's a good shot, and they're coming right. Oh, look at that outside spin. That was truly an amazing shot that Ed Oakes hit. He put some side spin on that ball, and the ball curved away, and Tim, you can hear Tim saying, that was such a good shot. You're putting me so out of position that I couldn't do anything with it. That was a very nice compliment that Tim Malin gave Ed Oakes. And that's another thing about pickleball. Everybody is very friendly, even in competition. They're complimenting each other. They appreciate good shots, even if it works against them. They are really complimentary to each other. You call your own fouls in this game. And actually what's interesting about it is that the team on this side will call the balls in or out on this side, which are the balls that Tuck and Ed hit. And Tuck and Ed have to call the balls for Victor and Tim. So the game is interesting because you actually are calling the ball for your opponent, so you have to be fair. Oh, that was a tremendous put-away shot by Victor. He is a very powerful player, and you can see he has great range and reach, so he's able to take some of these higher balls and really put some smack down on them. So it's interesting to watch the different styles of play. Tuck is a very precision player, as you can see. Ed uses a lot of spin, and that spin can sometimes create errors, and errors cost you points. And so that's kind of the situation with this game. We don't want to make many errors because that's the quickest way to lose, is to make mistakes. So you have to really practice on your patience and on your unforced errors. That ball is going to go down the middle and be put away by Ed, which is tremendous. And so Ed and Tuck are making a little push and coming back. So we'll see if they can make a push and get back close and put some pressure on Victor and Tim. 9-13, I think I heard the score. Let's see if they can get into the double digits here. Up, Tim Malin put a wonderful forehand down the line and slid it by Tuck, so he was not able to snag that. 9-13-2. They need to get a quick point here to get into the teens. Ed hit that ball in the net, so he's not able to capitalize on that service. Ball comes back to Victor at 13-9-1. We'll see if they can score a point and get closer to the 15 final point. In this game we're playing, and it's 15, but you have to win by 2. And so Tim was not able to control that ball. Ed put some real nice spin on that ball. Tim's the second server in this go-around, so if Ed and Tuck can get a side out from Tim, they'll get the ball back to serve. And they can maybe get that double-digit, get back to 10. They're at 9. Ed's going to go after that. Oh, that was a very nice spin shot by Ed. He covered that. So they do get the ball back. And Tuck's going to serve cross court. He has to serve cross court from his side to Victor's side and get it in this back square that Victor's standing behind. That's a real nice deep serve. Tuck's going to hit Tuck hit a really nice cross court volley. Victor couldn't put a paddle on that. And once again, as I said, this game is great for all ages of players. And the spectators that are watching, many of them are players, but there's also lots of wives and other people that come to spectate and see. They're either players or just fans of the game. So we've had, I would say, close to 100 spectators come through at different times and watch the different games. Really fun to see so many people getting involved in the game. Oh, that's a really nice shot, and they scored a point off that one as well. So they're into the double digits on the other side, and I think we're getting a pretty close match here. This might come down to the wire before we're all done. Looks to me like Ed's serving 11-13-2. He's the second server, so they've gotten within 2 points. So we'll see if they can hold it up. Oh, there's a good lob. Tim's got to run it down, and Tuck's going to take that overhead and hit it. Oh, and Tuck buried it in the net. So he was trying to capitalize in a hurry, and he couldn't quite get it done. So we'll see. Okay, now the ball comes back to Victor. I believe the score is 13-11, and we'll see if they can finish it off, or whether the older guys can hang in there tough and win a point. Oh, look at that inside out forehand, and look at that side shot over there. Oh, he got caught. Ed got caught just a little bit too far back, so that was really a nice play by Tim. He was able to cut that ball off and hit it soft and short. All right. I think this could be the last point if they win it on this side. Victor's going after it, and he's trying to put it away, and he did put it away. There's a nice show of camaraderie. They come together, they pat each other on the shoulder, they touch paddles, which is almost like shaking hands in other games that people do. The touching of paddles is respect after the game is over, saying it was a good match and we had a great time playing with you. And so Victor and Tim will move on to the next round. We have 10 teams in the final rounds, and so it will be the best 3 teams that will medal gold, silver, and bronze out of the 10 teams. We had 5 age brackets, and that's why we had 10 teams here. So we had teams in the 50s, teams in the 60s, and teams in the 70s, actually 69 plus, but many of the 69 plus players were in their 70s. And I believe we had 6 or 7 teams that were in their 70s, so that shows you that you can play this game for a long, long time. And the tournaments can be very big. We had 185 players in our pickleball tournament this year, so we were able to put a lot of players together, and everybody really enjoyed their time playing. And it was very competitive in both gyms, and everybody smiles and laughs a lot. And as they said in the senior games when we started this year, we're all here just to have fun.